Good evening, everyone, or good day, good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name is Matt C. Smith, and this is
Yrja Oftedahl, and we're here from Oslo live for you tonight with our brand new series, How to Hack Episode 2.
Episode 2. This is the second episode in the series, and it's called How to Hack because we've now been part of coming on 4 global international hackathons with tens of thousands of participants. How many participants in this one, actually?
21,000.
21,000 people who put their lives, their hours, their minds, their skills on an event, basically run over several days, where they try to hack their way out of this corona crisis. So it's called, the aptly named, EU versus virus, because it's basically the European Union and members of the European Union states getting together, creating teams and coming up with ideas. How many ideas were submitted in the end?
Oh, let me see.
So you remember it?
2,160.
She did it. She nailed it. I'm impressed. That was good.
Yeah, and we had people like from all over the world actually participating in.
Not just the EU.
Not just you, and with all different kinds of skill sets, not only tech people, like grandmas, young kids, everyone was on board, and this was such a great thing to watch.
If you actually were part of it, and your team was part of it, do us a favor, because one thing we've realized through these hackathons that Yrja and I have been doing is that anyone who watches these videos that we're doing, these broadcasts later, they're curious about the teams, because the hackathon was now almost 2 weeks ago. So if you are part of a team, tag your teammates and tag your team name. And if you can do it, tag your URL of that company right now, because people go actually and look down the comments if they're investors or partners. And we're going to talk a little bit later about the matchathon. But tonight, the second episode in the series, what are we going to talk about, Yrja?
Partners. How do we get partners on board on such a huge live stream or live online event? So first questions we have with us, like the responsible people for the hackathon, nonprofit partners and big corporate partners. So first question is coming to you, Dmitrij. Can you define the partners you were approaching and what kind of partners? Yeah, what kind of partners? Are you there, Dmitrij?
Hey guys, and hi from Poland. Talking about partners, who is the partner? Not the one who's living with us at home and properly for the hack, but they were supporting us, of course. To make it happen, we had to bring the brightest minds on board. We had to bring support. We had to bring some incentives, because making this kind of hack, of course, enough one incentive is the mission. So bringing the mission in place helps to be a magnet for the partners. Corporates, organizations, small, medium enterprise companies, they all are human. This is the definition of partner. So they are human beings. And these human beings, they want to help. And they are in the same situation we all are all. So how to bring them? That's what the questions. How can we bring these human beings who are responsible on their daily basis for billions of dollars operations or for managing thousands of people? And here, what actually helps to make this possible are 3 simple points. So mission, in this together we can fight the crisis, bring solutions to all these kind of natural problems around health, around logistics, around businesses. And here's the key word. Okay, so this is business. Okay, this logistic and health. So this is something about me also. So now bringing from mission to the framework. Okay, so who we are the one who bring the framework, so you can help with all your resources, all your experience, and all your connections and network. And then, of course, data literacy. So 3 points.
So what were the 3 points? So that was the first point, which is mission, yeah?
Yep.
And what's the second point?
The second point is about framework.
Framework. Okay, framework. What do you mean by framework? Break that down for me.
Framework is a place where you make happen with some boundaries, with some safe conditions, where everyone is on the same page, how to cooperate, how to collaborate, how to speak to each other. And this framework was brought appropriately by all European countries, European Commission, volunteers, Slack tools and WebEx kind of tools and all these kind of things. So this is the framework. And if mission is the same, or at least you have in common with the corporate, if framework is very familiar for them, how you collaborate on a daily basis, so what kind of tools you use, what kind of messaging you use, what kind of time zone you are in. So this is all about framework. And the third point is data literacy. So if you want, I can go further.
Okay, but what do you mean by data literacy? Because what we want to get out of this is for everyone watching at home who wants to do a hack, they want to know how can they get partners and integrate partners. So I get the angle now. You're talking about, so you attract partners, if I'm not mistaken, with the mission, right? Yeah. They buy into the dream, the vision, the ambition, right? Totally with you on that one. Number two, you set the framework. You say to them, okay, this is how the process is going to be managed. But do you mean the framework between how you manage the dialogue with the partner or internally?
So the framework initially was set internally, where some of the processes were designed to communicate externally with partners. So we use very, very nice dashboard live collaboration tools to make it happen, defining the whole user story. So imagining, like, if I am a partner, if I'm a C-level manager, or if I am VP of something. So what is the story? How can I design the whole process so I can knock into the door and speak to this exact person? Mm-hmm. And this is the framework, and bring them, of course, through with emails, with phone calls, bring them on Slack.
One question for me, like who are you approaching? Like what's the kind of person that you're writing to? Like what's the first person you write to from the company, for example?
Obviously like, Zuckerberg, right?
Yeah, obviously Zuckerberg, like straight the CEO level, or C-level as it's called.
Yeah, so what is important about bringing corporate partners that PM
who are the first person? Like who's the first person you approach in the company, and how do you also decide on which kind of company you want involved?
So public sector responsible people, like public affairs, head of communication, CSR related people. These people are very open to start a dialogue.
Cool. Okay, so next question. How do you decide on which companies you want to be involved as partners? Like, what's the criteria? Do you want everyone involved, or is it just like something that is aligned with the brand of the EU Commission, or like, what's your take there?
I'm looking into value. So it doesn't matter if a company is a small company or a big company, if it at a corporate or like, what is the value? Because we had 36 challenge tracks in different domains, like health and life, business continuity, and all these kind of things. We're looking what kind of value these companies can give, and not just today for the teams, like bringing the tool, the perk, or a price, or expert or mentor to make solution finally created and submitted and make it probability to succeed higher. So these are the criteria. You actually think in behind, whom do we need, how to attract them, and what kind of framework tools to provide so they are in.
Got you. So I mean, I get the narrative here. So you're looking at it very much as what value can they add, right? So I think that's the takeaway for me from what you're saying, Dmitrij, is if you're going to approach, if you want to organize an event such as this, you need to go to partners that you know can add value, and there's a mutual consent and a mutual value exchange, right? Because in this hackathon, ideas are coming up in the healthcare industry, fintech, you name it, right? All these different verticals.
And there are many values, actually. Like, there are many values. You have like the brand building to actually create trust around your event, and you have the tools, and you have like tools. What kind of other things do they have? Like
mission,
tools, brand building,
and data literacy.
Data literacy, yeah.
Yeah.
But what is data literacy? Break it down for me.
So data literacy is the way how do you build a dialogue and communicate with corporates. That means that what you say should be finite, should be in the context, and should be aligned with resources. It means that aligned with resources they have. and aligned with resources we as a volunteering team have.
Okay, understood. Dmitrij, I like that, breaking it down very well for us. We're going to come back to you in a second, but let's jump over to Fabio, my friend. Fabio, where are you, my friend? Say hello to us. Where are you?
Yes, hello. I'm in Switzerland near Geneva.
Oh, very nice, very nice. How has it been? You've been part of this hackathon now. Firstly, how's it been for you?
So I was, yes, part of the civil society team that then worked with institutions. And we tried to set tools to help like organization, not-for-profit, connect to participants. So the idea was to first set a group where we would have representatives of the different countries, and also try to have people representing I'd say, the minorities that are usually not in these events. So we try to have one person for young people, for elders, for people with chronic diseases, and so on. And with this group, we then created a guide that we provided to participants.
So hold on a minute. So you created a guide. So this was your like kind of action plan. And so I'm just thinking about this. You know, if I'm watching this right now and I want to know how can I get partners, how can I integrate people, break that down to me. So you just said you created a guideline, which effectively is a blueprint, I guess, right?
Yes. The idea was to say maybe we don't have the resources to get to every participant or to every organization we would like to reach. So we set up some ways of just letting them know, okay, if you want to work with civil society partners or if you want to meet participants, then you can go to this document, and then you have some steps how you can connect to them, how you can have more impact with your project.
Understood. We're going to ask everyone, bear in mind this question. So if you're watching at home, hello to you. Do stay on, because at the end of this, we're going to get everyone to answer the fateful question. Would you do it again? And if you did, what was the biggest learning you wish you knew now that you could have taken with you then? But Fabio, break it down to me. So your team, you were bringing on these member states, right?
Yeah, in fact, we checked the different countries, and we tried to have at least 1 to 3 people per country, just helping us connect with civil society organization in the country. That was not possible for everyone, but we had about 30 participants in our group. And then we also tried to have 1 to 3 people per population, per vulnerable population. And
what
then
did
we
you
had
offer them? Yeah? How did the relationship work? Because we just heard from Dmitrij about you having that mutual narrative of benefit, right? So both they and you will gain something out of this. What was your value prop for getting these partners involved?
I'd say for the participant, the idea was to say in hackathon usually there is sometimes a lack of connection to the real needs of the field. So we said we provide you with a list of the 800 civil society organizations and institutions. And you can maybe connect them, if not during the event afterwards, to just connect to communities, to have questions about their needs, to test your projects. And for organizations, it was to say, okay, you have no certain workforce that is working on new ideas, and maybe you can see if your organization could support them in giving resources, providing funding or a space. That was a bit the idea for this connection.
But how do you engage and manage all these partners actually? Like, how do you keep them involved? Did you like update them on email every day, or like how do you put that into a system or strategy?
No, I think for us the 3 days were really short. It was more to help them get in touch with each other. So we didn't do a lot of pushing, but we said here we provide a document that you can use also afterwards. And if you already connect with each other for the hackathon, it's already a good start. What matters is what you do next, and that you can build something with them after the 3 days.
Fabio, I'm really curious about one thing, to follow up on what Yrja said. So if I came to you right now and I said, Fabio, I'm going to run a hackathon in next week. Okay, I'm going to do one of these, and it's going to be a similar setup. What would be the advice you'd give me right now, and how would you set things up? You say, Matt, you have to do these 3 things. Go. What are those 3 things, Fabio?
Okay. I think the dynamic of the event is really important. And I think if we want to work together and have really impact, we have to, for example, foster open source solutions. So we have to encourage teams to work together and to connect to real needs. So to connect to participants, to have also like a diversity in the teams. So we saw in the 6 winning teams, domain leads, 3 of them didn't have women in their group. I feel it's a shame, and I feel next time maybe we could do better. So diversity, collaboration with other teams, maybe a bit less focus on the deliverable after the 3 days, but more on, okay, with whom could I work so that I have the resources to continue afterwards. And I don't know if I have a third one, but I think that's, yeah, 2 inputs I would propose.
What we've learned, Yrja and I have learned out of all of this is, you mentioned a very good point, Fabio, which is the fact that teams should collaborate, because what have we seen? Teams joining different hackathons, haven't we?
Yes, we have. They've joined many hackathons, and actually what they got out of it is actually more teammates, more partners.
We actually interviewed a team. What was it? Do you remember the name of that team? We interviewed a team. Hello Clinic. Was it
Yeah,
Hello Med?
yeah, something like
Hello
that.
Med or something?
Hello Med. Yeah, something
Hello
like
Med. Yeah,
Med.
we interviewed this team, and this team had basically taken part. And I think it was the Swedish hack first. Won that, then did the Italian, won that, and then they took part in the EU one. And I don't know how well, actually I think they did pretty well. But and what they did is they picked up different team members. So in each individual one, these people were working pro bono, supporting, contributing to the thing. So that's a great takeaway there, Fabio. Yrja, we're going to come back to you, Fabio, in a minute. Think about that big takeaway. We're going to come to you at the end there. Who do we want to hear from next?
So we have with us Carolina. Are you with us? You are responsible for the matchathon. And my first question to you is actually like, how do you keep the partners with you so you bring them into the next event as well?
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, the hackathon and the matchathon, it's 2 different things, but it's also very tight connected with each other. And from the hackathon, there were so many partners who decided to be involved and to participate in different ways. And well, as I said, how do we move them to the matchathon?
Yeah,
because now it's time to actually support the teams and help them to get all the solutions into the market. And I think the main key here is to see, okay, what does the team needs, and how can that align with what the corporates can also offer. So I think to do that kind of connection and also make it very visible, I think that's the key. So the corporates know, okay, what's in it for them. And I mean, to be part of this kind of hackathon where we are trying to solve and find solutions to the crisis that we are in, the mission is very, very clear. And I think that Dmitrij was also talking about that. That's one thing that actually engage both people but also corporates to be part of this. So to be very focus on what are we trying to do here, and to work together, and how can we actually help each other, because we're trying to find solutions only for one thing, and that's the same thing for everyone. So I think that's like the main key here.
So, but one question is like, how did you manage to organize the partners? Like, how did you involve them? I don't know if you can answer this, Carolina, but we saw that you got the partners to sponsor various hacks. No, I mean tracks. So how do you structure? Like, what do you offer them, and how do you structure it?
What do they get out of it?
What do they get out of it? And can you tell us a little bit about it? Sorry. Yeah.
Well, right now it's more about what kind of solutions are they not only willing to support, but the kind of solutions that they are to be matched with. Because the corporates can have different kind of offers to give. It could be like technical support. It can also be mentorship in some way, and they are probably interested in one specific domain or in some particular solution. So I think that's the way to proceed with this.
Cool.
But of course, it's not an easy thing to do. And for the hackathon, there were also corporates who were part of that, but helping with the communication part, which was very, very important, of course. But now it's more, the communication part is still one thing that we need help with. But what's important now is how can you actually help the solutions be ready for the market. So it's a difference between the hackathon and the matchathon.
And the matchathon, I mean, have you taken on most of the partners into the matchathon that were in the hackathon? Or did you have to re-pitch to new partners and sell them on the new value prop?
Actually, the last part, we had like 200 partners from the hackathon, and then we did well, not one more time. We sent out a survey to all the partners who attend the hackathon. A couple of questions: how are we going to support? Right now, I don't have all those.
Carolina, we're losing you. The signal is a bit blurry there for some reason.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's a bit better. We'll come back to you in a second. But Carolina, I'm going to come back to you in a minute because I want to run around all our three guests right now, Fabio as well, and Dmitrij, and ask two takeaways for you. You know, if Yrja and I were to come to you today and say, hey, we're going to run a hackathon next week, how do we integrate partners? What is your main two takeaways for us? And I think we should shoot straight over back to Dmitrij. Dmitrij, my friend, what are those two main takeaways you'd love to share with our audience tonight?
For the partners, prepare a very well-designed message and mass mail it straight away to the VPs, C-levels, go on LinkedIn, reach out to them, any channels you can. If you do and you have this response, assign account manager from the volunteering team. And the second here would be ridiculously repetitive and stick to ritual. We had daily stand-ups, we had evening calls, and every day like that. All the time, structuring through surveys, mails, onboarding webinars, and again, surveys, mails, calls, onboarding webinars with the corporates. And this way, even a day before, even the same day the hack started, we were still closing the pool of prices provided by corporates and support. And this took like for the EU versus virus, it took almost 2 weeks to make this gig like that, this big. And in Poland, in hack crisis, we did it like in 2 days or 3. So it's possible.
It's possible.
This way direct and this way prepared. Like,
would you do it again?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's my takeaway. So that was for me a crash course actually. I did it first time in Poland, and then I joined as a judge to Swedish one, and then mentored to Danish one, and then to EU versus virus as a national creator, and I just took new areas. So you can learn a lot from this, and like beautiful, brightest minded people from the volunteering team, from organizing team, and from teams itself. May give you the 5-year study from university.
Dmitrij, coming in from Poland, my friend, thank you so much. Dziękuję, as they say in Poland.
Yeah.
Fabio, what are your biggest takeaways?
I think, of course, the first is really to see how we can better collaborate. And take the time, maybe regularly in the organizing team, but also with partners to see, okay, what are we doing well? How can we recognize others' work? And then how can we improve the way we collaborate? So can we design the agenda differently? Can we maybe create an event where we don't have just 5% of winning team, but we can have everyone being supported? And the second takeaway, I would say, is really to see. No, we had a lot of hackathon. We had over 100 hackathon for COVID. And as you said before, there are many projects that are similar. I think one big challenge is to say, okay, what can we do so that we have less projects, but more people working together and more people really acting to save lives. So we don't need to have thousands more projects. We need to have more people that we can really help in the communities. And I think if every project team has a partner, a not-for-profit partner that they can help, that they can validate their project with, it will be a really good outcome for next event.
Thank you, Fabio. What about you, Carolina?
My biggest takeaways? One big takeaway is that like I can see that everything is possible. I mean, we started out with nothing, and now we have so many good solutions, so good projects that we hope that we will be alive very, very soon. And starting out with nothing and be able to attract so many corporates, but also so many participants, that is possible. That makes me feel hope for the future. And of course, you can always learn during this kind of event that there has to be, like an organization behind it. And it's also very important that you have people who are really engaged and want to participate in this, both from the organization, but also the people attending. So I think that's the thing that I will take with me from being part of the Versifier.
Carolina, thank you so much, and also thank you to Fabio and Dmitrij.
All right, but let's sum things up. So everyone watching at home, thank you for joining us. We're going to be back with you next week on Tuesday. But before we go, so Dmitrij, the key takeaways from that gentleman are the purpose of this is trying to provide you all with a template, some form of framework to take away with you and to recreate your own hackathons wherever you are. We learned last night that there's no threshold to the size. You do need a couple of teams. So you're looking at 20 to 50 people minimum to run a hackathon, really, and then as participants, but they can go as many and as high as you need. But to pull partners in, it's all about having a well-designed email, and you mass email that to people. Be smart about it. Mass email that. There are a lot of sort of mass email templates. MailChimp is one that I use. You can use that relatively for free. I'm pretty sure you could get MailChimp Premium for free right now if you contacted them and said, we're working for a worthy cause. Yesterday evening, in our first episode of How to Hack, we learned that you can contact people like Slack and other large organizations, and they're happy to contribute. Yeah. They're happy to provide free services to get you going and to help us all hack our way out of Corona crisis. Along with those mass emails, you need to think about the follow-up, because if you mass email a lot of people, you might get a lot of mass responses. Who's going to respond to all of those? So dedicate an individual, a team, to tailor responses. Don't just go mass responses, because if you're talking to Accenture and Facebook and Google, you need to have tailored responses to those individuals and give them the time of day and keep them updated through the process. That's one. On the Fabio mentioned about working better as a team in collaboration. So he's talking about having more people, not necessarily less ideas, but more people contributing to this thing as a whole. So that's a takeaway for you if you're going to run one of these hacks as well. And finally, Carolina, beautiful message. You were very inspired by this. I think that comes down to the main thing with all of this is the mission behind all of this. Make sure you communicate the mission. And I think that the lesson for anyone in this is to be able to communicate concisely the mission behind what we're trying to do. It is a broad mission. And there are a lot of hackathons trying to hack the way out of the Corona crisis. But I think if you were to take a narrative that the EU hack is about collating the European Union and the nations. Now that's also part of the mission, because the mission is not just about fixing COVID, but it's about pulling people together. What kind of people are you putting together is of value to the partner, because they want to know who's that target audience and how can they add value to them. That roughly sums things up. Would you add anything else, Yrja?
No, it's just like be brave and be bold. Go to the biggest partners or the one that you really admire, that you think is unreachable, for example. Even go to Facebook or go to try everyone, and you never know who's gonna answer. And if you have a well-designed email with a good mission, you're gonna get an answer.
We had a really interesting message last night, actually, which was from Michael, which we realized that by contacting, so obviously, so let's think about it. Yrja and I right now, next weekend we're going to run a hackathon, right? What are the first steps we take? We know we need partners, we know we need support, because the partners can add mentorship and advisors, and that's what they bring to the table as well as, or in place of, finances. Right now, us right now with say we had no track record running one of these things, and us mass emailing a bunch of people, is probably going to have a low hit rate. But if we were to go to, for example, a local governing organization such as the European Commission, or even in Oslo where we are right now, the local municipality, got them on board without any financial arrangement, all of a sudden we have a stamp of approval.
Exactly.
So that when that mass email goes out, we say, hi, my name is Matt C. Smith and Yrja Oftedahl, and we are setting up a hackathon in partnership with the municipality of Oslo. Those partners all of a sudden see that this is legitimate.
Yeah.
They're interested. And that can help them make a quicker, faster, easier decision to support you. So that was a great lesson. And there's a narrative running through these episodes now.
Yes, it is.
What's happening next week and why should people tune in, Yrja?
We have 2 other episodes coming up of the How to Hack series, and then we have the demo day on Thursday. So we're gonna hear so many pitches. I think I don't know how many, but I think it's everyone that participated and won in the EU hackathon.
A lot of great ideas. You don't want to miss them. Trust me, they are fantastic ideas. You might find something inspirational. You might find a team you want to be part of. You might even find one you want to invest in or use their product. So
yes,
it's Pop Idol. It's Pop Idol for startups, for COVID. Let's hack our way. That's it.
And the opening ceremony is on Friday next week.
That is right. We'll be going on Friday next week, 22nd to the 25th, I believe it is. We will be bringing you the Matchathon, where they will be matching the 120 best ideas that came out of the previous hackathon with companies, these partners we've mentioned today, who have supported this initiative from day one. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to say thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Thursday evening, I think it is. I'm losing track of the days at the moment.
Yeah, same.
I don't know about you, but I have no idea what day of the week it is, to be honest. We're going to say have a nice evening. Live from us in Oslo. Have a nice night. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Have a nice weekend. If we can have a weekend anymore. It's all blown into one.